Thanks for joining us tonight as we switch things up and let you in on some exciting news. The Factor team is heading to New York City this weekend, and we're going to give you an inside look at Roc Nation's inaugural Social Justice Summit. You heard me right. I said Roc Nation, as in Jay-Z's entertainment company. I bet you didn't know he had a philanthropy branch that focuses on criminal justice reform and social justice. This group is the one who teamed up with the NFL to ensure the league got its act together after the Colin Kaepernick mess. Now, if it wasn't for that partnership, you wouldn't have seen that incredible Super Bowl halftime show this past year either. Roc Nation produced that with the goal of promoting black excellence and highlighting the culture. But back to this weekend. In 2019, Team Roc created the United Justice Coalition with the goal of gathering powerful people and using their platforms to promote justice and educate the public about just how broken our criminal justice system really is. So this Saturday, UJC is inviting people from all around the country to come and really immerse themselves in this world of social justice. Now, I realize all of you can't get to New York City, so I'll be there bringing you all the goods. And to talk a little bit more about this summit and what it hopes to accomplish, I spoke with Team Roc's boss lady in their social justice division. Dania Diaz joins us now, and we're talking about the Social Justice Convention that's kicking off in New York this weekend. First of all, when it comes to social justice in this country, what's the biggest obstacle we're facing in America? Obviously, we've seen a groundswell of people getting involved after the death of George Floyd, who's from Houston. But what do we see as the biggest issue now facing us in this country?
It's an excellent question, because one of the things that we are seeing and we have been seeing is that we want to rebuild a sense of trust in our criminal justice system, for instance. I think that has been broken. When we see countless examples of people violating others' rights, in particular when we look at law enforcement and the countless times that we see violence and it's met with impunity, it's something that is certainly of concern to all citizens. We want to live in a country where we can trust our systems, right? Where we can have faith in them when there is what's resounding for us is that there are systemic inequities, there is systemic racism, and there are systems that are built to perpetuate it, and there are systems that need to be reimagined. And that's really kind of what this conference is about, is to educate people on what these systems look like, who are the actors, who are the influencers, how do we come together to have real dialogue, real conversation to push our efforts toward justice and faith in our systems again.
Now, Dania, after the death of George Floyd, we saw many elected officials saying that there would be reform from local, state to federal. We even had promises of the George Floyd Policing Act. How do we continue to hold those individuals responsible for the promises that they made, but they have yet to keep to the people of this country?
Excellent question again. I think what's really important for us all to really embrace is the fact that we do have power in changing our systems. And that really kind of comes through the voting process, right? And getting educated on the different levels of our justice system. You mentioned local, state, federal. All of these levels are really critical when we're thinking about and we're looking at where the change can be made. That in and of itself, that level of education, I think, is critical. It's something that we will be addressing at the conference as well. Like, where can you take action from a political standpoint, but also what are the community organizations that can help you move the needle forward? And so that's actually another aspect of this conference that we are embracing. It is the work of local organizations throughout the country that are really pushing for reforms across the system.
Now, when you have this conference this weekend in New York City, what will it look like? What can attendees expect, or those who may catch it streaming? What can they expect from this conference that's put together by Roc Nation and United Justice Coalition?
They can expect to listen to be a part of incredible conversations around our criminal justice system from exceptional panelists. We're talking about experts across the field, whether they are educators, whether they are activists, whether they are media personalities, whether they are the stories that are being told by people who have been directly impacted or have lost loved ones. So what you'll see are conversations around decriminalizing mental health, the family matters, how our families on the panel have been able to transform their anger and their pain into advocacy and purpose and change in policy. We'll be talking about conditions of confinement, right? We're looking at our incarcerated neighbors who are really exposed to extreme conditions across our prison systems, inhumane conditions, as we've seen in Parchment, for example. We're looking at transitions in and out of the system, right? Everything from pretrial detention to parole, probation, and reentry and support services. Again, we're going to be looking at other key issues such as wrongful conviction and, bridging the divide. You talked about police accountability from the beginning, but how do we bridge the divide and when we talk about policing in America? So those are some of the incredible conversations that will be happening. And again, we will have representation of about over 40 social justice organizations in the room as well. So a lot of opportunity to learn, to get inspired, to network, and to take action.
This is the only place where you can catch coverage of the inaugural Social Justice Summit. It airs Wednesday night at 10:30. Stay with us.